if BIGETRON Beta can finish what they started, to get the job done cleanly. This time game 2, they're gonna get that blue side luxury. TNC Pro Team goes on the red.
I like this because now they can predetermine what that gold lane matchup is going to start looking like, right? If we see any gold lane matchup bans from the side of BTR Beta, that's when they're going to have some problems. But first, they're going to start off with that Novaria. Want to make sure that Hatred doesn't get too far ahead because he was like, what, 2K ahead of his counterpart in Dan QT. Wait, they actually swapped him out. They swapped out Yurashi for Dan QT.
Yeah, no Ryuji, and now it's Dan QT. So, interesting move by BIGETRON Beta. But this, by ban, I wonder if the chip or Loi will get let through, right? Because we've been seeing a lot of chip and Loi today, banned out today.
That's a good point, actually. Whether BTR Beta actually care about some of these like high priority picks and bans. Chip gets banned out for the side of TNC. They don't want to reveal what they're up to just yet.
I will choose my own
Arlott ban, start taking away the power picks of TNC Pro Team. So that's 2 out of 5 heroes from previous game banned out. I think if you have BIGETRON Beta, you probably would just let Loi through, considering, well, assuming that their mid laner, Dan QT, has the same hero pool as Ruzi, right? But yeah, they're not gonna get it.
Okay. So this is where it comes down to whether BIGETRON Beta ban out a gold laner. If they do, TNC will also respond with their own ban. But if they don't, they ban out Roger. Do they give Harith over and then play into Natan? Which are they more comfortable with in that trifecta? Moskov, they're going to force it to traditional gold laners here. TNC, what's it going to be?
It's either Roger or Harith. Or they could let both through, right? They could ban Harith, and then they pick either
Natan or Roger, right?
It is in despair.
So they ban the Natan, okay.
Okay, they're gonna force the Roger into Harith matchup here.
This should be a Harith pick.
I was just like, check me out on carry. Check me out on Claude first pick blind.
I've seen statistically teams that are allergic to Harry first pick usually loses the game. And I'll give you a very good example. Gaming Gladiators, NACT Finals.
No, too soon. The poor guy.
People who are allergic to Harry first pick.
They get rolled.
You know what? Harith Roger, do it now.
Harith Roger?
Do the Valhalla strat.
Do the Valhalla strat.
Just take both of them away.
Be spiteful. Dude, if TNC Pro Team actually lock in the Harith Roger, I have so much respect for them. That's such a bold move in the first phase of the draft.
But you have to take Harith right now that the Angela is taken. Yeah,
100%. 100%. And I like the Barat setup because now it kind of sets things up for heads to either play, to basically have this flex pick.
You have a very solid jungler into like a potential Fredrin, which was the reverse matchup last game. So even if BIGETRON Beta picked a Fredrin, it doesn't really feel all that good.
They can set up pretty well. Like TNC right now have a significant advantage in the draft unless we see a direct counter to this Harith. I mean, Arlott is already gone, right? So again, no way to kind of disrupt that CC. So next big thing would probably be like Phoveus, Mincetar, ways to kind of disrupt that dash. Lane dominant heroes like Roger, for an example. And even then, you still get outscaled.
Wow, they straight up just picked Narashi's Lapu. So early. So Lapu and Fredrin. So Roger is not touched at all. What else can they pick? Claude? I mean, if we go down the list, it probably is Claude.
It's like Claude, it's Carry. Carry probably not exactly the best pick even. I mean, there's a lot of burst potential, right? But if you get caught in the middle of the Synchro Fissure, you basically get 100 to 0.
If you're TNC, I think now you could just take your
mid laner. Valentina, what?
Valentina. You could take Faramis and actually?
That's what I'm thinking. Go Faramis and then ban out Valentina within the second phase.
Let's see.
The night sky tells all.
Nita. They take.
Wow.
They take the Esma.
They blind Esme. Wait, no. The Esme already does pretty well against the Angela's Heart Guard, but into the Lapu, I guess that makes sense, right? Because Lapu doesn't have the strongest laning phase either.
MAL taught me that this Mesme could go gold.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare bring that filth here. You watch yourself, brother.
I'm just saying.
But then Harith goes goes
Jungle,
jungle, and then Barat
Barat-
goes EXP. Okay, all right, I can see the angle. I can see the angle. 15 more seconds, second phase. Let's see where these bans are starting to lean into. Knowing that BTR is very teamfight oriented, do they get rid of things like Faramis? Do they? Oh, they still dedicate to the gold lane.
I think you just shut down Zyves, right? You just
Get rid of everything, right?
even if he picks Roger, like what can he do as a Roger? Like there's really no one you could reliably kill.
That and also, well, then again, this is under the assumption that Zyve like does not win out his lane, like really, really hard, right?
You know,
I think
TNC can still pick Faramis if they want.
they absolutely can, but we need to wait until somebody bans out the Valentina. Nobody has touched it so far, and even the Matilda hasn't been touched by either team.
So Croc ban.
All right. Ban
Who do you want?
out.
In fact, I think if this is how they want to play, TNC can just leave the mid laner for last. They could take a Minotaur or something.
Oh. Ooh.
So regardless of whether who picks Valentina, well, who takes Faramis, you have a response, right?
You ban
stitches?
Minotaur?
I can help.
Wow, he banned a Melissa.
How? Okay, wait. First of all, how deep has TNC done extensive research on Zyve? Did they just like whip out his Liquipedia just before this game, and they're like, how many heroes have he's played so far?
I think they just look at the gold laner tier list. You know? Claude, Melissa. Next up is Carry.
Oh.
Like if he doesn't pick Carry, there's no one else he could pick. Like Brody is not good here.
It's definitely not the greatest. Like, who exactly do you start shredding, right?
Like there's Brody, Beatrix, Carry. And
I feel like you have to play carry at this point. You already see like 2 dedicated tanks. We don't know whether Esmeralda is going to go with the Starlium Scythe build or like traditional Esmeralda setup into like Enchanted Talisman and Talisman, full tank, and then eventually Ice Queen's Wand.
see this last ban. It's gonna be the Halkert ban. What?
Halkert to deal with the Fredrin. I get that.
Yes.
Is there anything else that's dependent? I mean, they already got rid of like majority of the heavy hitters when it comes down to like the gold lane, unless they're thinking about Ixia.
It could be, but
I mean, she doesn't trade very well against Harith. Let's be perfectly honest here, right? It's mainly for her teamfight presence.
depends on what TNC picks for the Romo, right? Matilda is still open if they want.
Yeah, they can easily go for Matilda.
If they go for Matilda, then Ixia is not an option anymore. In fact, no gold laners will be an option. Do you just go for fight the gold laner?
Ruby? Question mark.
CC?
CC as well,
So
yeah.
they take Valentina. Yeah.
All right, so they give Valentina just to be a little bit more flexible, I suppose.
I see lots of
So they go for the Roger. Yep, not really not really much choice left.
Yeah, they really narrowed it down for Zyve here. They didn't give him much else to play.
It's like, wow, you didn't pick Roger in the first 3 picks. we'll do it for you.
But the worst part about about BTR Beta's position is that even if they get the Matilda, it doesn't do too much for their composition, right?
Do you need someone that can do burst damage mid? No Novara and Lilia, I guess.
This is actually they can play like an artillery mage if they wanted to.
Do they pick Aurora? Is Aurora doable?
Nana?
Priestess of
Maybe
primal
Nana.
lightning.
Edith.
Wait, what?
Angela in the
It's
mid lane,
Angela.
and then
Yeah,
afterwards
Angela
Edith
mid.
to kind of complement, right? Because that's the thing. Whenever you put Angela in that mid lane, you need a support who can actually either utilize a concussive blast or has natural inbuilt kits to clear up that wave to maintain the mid pressure against their opponents.
Imagine they don't really have much damage, magic damage, right? It's very reliant on the Roger.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, we've seen BTR play a very similar comp. BTR Beta play similar comp yesterday, so not too surprised that they're still leading into the same things. The only issue is that I think that TNC, if they go Matilda, I think that's totally fine here, right? Matilda is kind of able to enable this team to get in and out, especially when they have to deal with the Primal Wrath, right?
I will protect you.
Or it could go for
Interesting.
Lolita.
I like this actually. Yeah. You know what? If we're gonna be in your face, we're gonna dive really, really hard. And if you try to peel backwards, if it's a projectile, I'm gonna knock it back into you.
It's like, wow, Edith, good projectiles.
Why are you hurting yourself? Why are you hurting yourself, Finn? Why are you hurting yourself? But this will be interesting because I want to see whether Esmeralda is going to be a worthwhile investment for TNC Pro.
They're gonna have a lot of shoes, right? Lolita plus Esma. You have Valentina for the hard guard if they want to triple down on that.
Yeah, Lapu has a passive shield as well. They have a good amount of ways to actually generate it. This will be interesting from the side of TNC because they have to be surgical with their strikes.
See, for BIGETRON Beta, they just need one more win against TNC Pro Team to send them into that lower bracket in the Swiss round. But this draft looking more favorable for TNC Pro Team. So we just got to see game number 2 underway. BIGETRON Beta blue side and TNC Pro Team red.
Based on what we've seen so far, TNC, if they play for the earlier stages of the game, they generally have an advantage here, right? Because BTR Beta are dedicated for their gold laners, and everybody else is just a side character to the side party.
And starting on the mirrored side for both junglers. I wonder how this Fredrin is going to fare into the draft of TNC Pro Team. I feel like there's a lot of things that you need to deal with as a Fred.
I feel like at least for Fredrin, he can rely on Finn to get eaten by the Daytona's welcome because he has technically his escape mechanic and he also has flicker as well. If you look at the emblem setup, nothing too out of the ordinary. Master Assassin coming in a big time for Zai because that makes his trades very, very effective down by the gold lane, right? That's why you can see that Nomad, he's very careful with the way he walks up.
Oh yeah. Even for Harv, you do need some time. Triple purify this game is to make sure that they're not straight up chain CC by BIGETRON Beta, but very early invade into the jungle, and Zyve trying to keep Nomad at bay. Still trying to man-fight him with the Lycan Pounds damage. And able to use his shield to absorb the Synchro Fission.
Yep, nicely done, nicely done. The top side, first blood given over to TNC Pro Team. A good gank coming up from Ryzen's side, right? He didn't even use the ultimate as well, so it really means that Narashi really messed up hard deep into the lane. Like, Head set it up real well right in front of his turret.
God has flickered out. Now the turret...
They can kill him again.
They can.
Ryzen needs to walk up. He needs to walk up, land the Daytona's welcome. Yeah, Narashi should not be able to walk up at all.
He's going to lose the entire gold plating. Or at least almost the entire gold plating. He definitely misses the whole wave.
Oh, no, he's not going to hit level 4 on time. This is so sad for Narashi.
He can't even walk up. I think if you're Lish, you might have to consider giving this away.
He's going to take a little bit of damage here. That's totally fine, right? But the Daytona's welcome is what he's really worried about, right? Hatred, at this point, he's already got the Promoted Wrath. Now...
Oh, no. Lish missed the knockout, so he's not going to get enough combo points.
Hard guard.
He's going to have the hard guard on top of him. Whereas the Prince of Wrath still does not have enough combo points to get it through. He's going to jump in with the energy eruption. Gets the knockup. Still cannot unleash the ultimate.
Oh my god.
Just complete disaster for BIGETRON Beta at the Turtle Pit. Giving away 2 more kills, making number 3 as his just dives past the turret.
Perfectly played. If BIGETRON is going to continue playing around their gold lane, no problem. Narashi is vulnerable and free from the pickings for TNC Pro.
Everything that could have gone wrong with a Fredrin went wrong in that fight. Could never get enough combo points for the ult.
It's like having the power of slow motion, but you're about to die, so you just you just die in slow motion, which extends the pain.
They did get the Purify out from Nomad.
He's dead.
Oh, Zyves. Woo!
He's gonna die right here. Zyves, he needs to hard push this lane, wait for his Lycan Pulse to come back up. Bend things, needs to save them. I mean, they brought the whole Goon squad here to make sure that Nomad clears this wave.
Hatred is not going to show himself yet. Okay, Finn. Flip. Now Zyve sees that Hatred is there. Stolen Primal Wrath. They're not going to commit in. Numenon Blast. Finn. Good dodge with the ult. And now with the hard ground, Zyve's going to go straight to the back trying to look for Nomad. But the Chrono Dash shield is going to keep Nomad alive for longer than expected. Zyve could not move at all.
No!
And even ends up going down. Nomad still stayed alive after all of that. And now Ryzen shows up to the bottom lane. Dan QT has nowhere else to go. Just pincer between a dinosaur and his turret. That one given to Ryzen.
Outplayed on the bottom side of the map. 3 minutes into the game as it turns into 4 TNC Pro Team once again dominating in this matchup. 0-6 for the early game. But BIGETRON Beta, we've seen this before. We see them lose out heavily in the early game, not letting TNC Pro Team make it to that 10K mark and dragging the game out so that Zyve eventually can carry. I don't know how he's going to do it on a Roger of all things. He's very dependent on the rest of his team.
He hadn't a ton in the previous game, so base defense not a problem. But this game, I don't know how you're going to mount a base defense with this draft.
I mean, to be fair, the last time we saw Xive actually play in that gold lane, he did opt to go for a Blade of Despair instead of the Malefic Roar as his third item. So he might be looking to scale later on. Wait, hold on. No, he went for Corrosive Scythe. What is this guy on?
What is he going to go for? Corrosive Scythe and then what? On hit? Is he going to go Holy Trinity?
I don't see the Holy Trinity happening, right? Why would he want to go for an on-hit build, especially when you're up against the Lolita? I would have expected him to actually opt for Windtalker, just so he can hard push that lane whenever TNC want to invade.
And TNC want the turret, and I don't think it's negotiable.
They're not going to dive him here, right? Narashi's in that bush, and they just spotted him out.
And I mean, look at where it hits it. He is cutting the wave. He is just straight up in between the inhibitor and tier 2.
What's Heads building right now? He's got a Thunderbelt. Huh, interesting. Interesting hybrid build.
Actually unkillable.
Did he take Common Emblem? No, he took support.
Oh, just falling star on DanQT. Whoops, stolen hard guard. DanQT is gonna flicker away, but still, there's no running away.
Hey man, he's living up to his namesake. Hatred ain't gonna let you go that easily. That's a tier 1 on top and bottom side falling into the hands of TNC Pro. And they're looking to set up once again, like, oh man, Xive, he's just not strong enough. That Corrosive Strike doing no good for him as Heads gets the walk away and turn this around.
Xive, can he get the Lycan Pulse at least? He's gonna flicker forward, get terrified, but still gets the kill. And now looking to find a second one to flicker the middle blast. Actually missing onto Xive, but still Head's still alive. They're gonna flip Benting's back, and this should be a second kill given over to the Roger. There is the reset. Xive coming online a little bit in the top side. At least BIGETRON Beta finds some kills and turret.
Yep, and they're trying to cover the mid-tier 1. That's why Narashi is just taking his time to clear that wave. Just showing presence is good enough. TNC Pro team unable to wrestle back for a trade or even for tempo.
I'm looking at Xive's item build. I think he's going for Holy Trinity.
Is he actually? Is he going to go Demon Hunter Sword as well? What do he... Oh, really wants to go for the on-hit here. I guess he thinks that there's no way for him to get deep into enemy line, so he might as well just wait out the shield from Lolita and then eventually just, you know, start chipping away at some of the bigger targets.
Speaking of that, I think they found him. And there's no way that Finn can save him. Luminum Blast slammed down Finn on the retreat. And without the Roger, BIGETRON Beta cannot contest at all. Narashi throws in the Bravest Fighter, trying to use the Raging Slash, but it doesn't really matter too much. They will keep this tier 1 alive at least.
You can see just converging really, really well. They're using their high tempo against BIGETRON Beta, right? Like BIGETRON Beta is definitely a little bit slower on that rotate, but TNC Pro looking to intercept them as many times as they can to get even further ahead of this game. These turtles don't really matter, and they find another kill in DanQT.
Wow, the Salmon Force. And that one, I think, stolen by Bentings. These Xives gets to get some farm, but the tempo still in TNC Pro team's favor. 7k gold lead, almost 8 minutes in.
Oh my goodness, Heads is on the top of the damage leaderboard, nearly doubling Nomad's damage.
There's no way to kill him. He's going for Dom Ice next. How do you even have damage against him?
That's what I'm wondering, right? Is the Thunderbelt just that good as a first item for Esmeralda to be in this type of position, right? I mean, to be fair, he did get a little bit of support from his jungler, Ryzen, to actually set it up. He was able to get full gold plating as well. So I can agree that he should be... I agree that he is greedy, and I think that he's in a very good position to do so. But does he keep scaling in this game to the point where he's unkillable, right? Where Xive doesn't even lay a scratch on him?
I think that could be the case. Even just now, before in the top side, Xive was barely able to kind of make a dent.
Okay, Dom Ice, he probably should be going for anti-Cuirass at this point, right? Just make sure that Xive doesn't have that much kill potential. Then again, he's going for the on-hit build.
Yeah, it's so...
Yeah, second item, Golden Staff. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I haven't seen this for a long time.
Trinity build onto Roger. I mean, he just wants to stay in the human form as much as he can, right? And he's hoping that his passive, after they're below 50%, with the extra attack speed that he has, is able to like weave those in. Oh,
I don't think he's getting out of this. He does have the hard guard onto him, but he needs it right now. Xive also, he's gonna be gone by Heads. He's trying to run away. They turn the hard guard onto Xive, and that means that they will give away Lynch. He can only save so many people.
Park Guard wasn't even committed there by Dan QT. They know that the Lord is about to spawn. That's the worst part, right? And now, with BIGETRON Beta losing out their main tank, it's, man, they can't even play front to back, right? I think BIGETRON Beta at this point has to look for these deep dives onto TNC Pro and split them into two.
Man, the higher damage. It's ridiculous. I mean, Zyve is losing a lot of space right now. I think they just found Narashi also. And that's just based off of one Esmeralda with Thunderbelt.
This is looking pretty unwinnable. This is starting to look very unwinnable. I don't know how BIGETRON Beta is actually going to come back into this, right? What's a scenario where they end up winning? I think it's Narashi has to make the super play. Finn needs the full duration of his primordial farm. Oh, they're collapsing.
And just the burst. Narashi didn't even get to do anything. Dan QT in the wrong place at the wrong time. They flip heads over. But he's willing to really go toe-to-toe. Zyve is just giving him a massage at this point. Finn becomes the target of interest. Zyve turns into Lycan form, trying to escort his teammate out, but the rest of his team has already been killed off.
Yeah, it looks like the adjustments from TNC Pro Team is really paying off here, right? They recognize that, oh, if they're always going to play for Zyve, everywhere else is going to be weak. So they took full advantage of the draft to set themselves up for a strong early game comp and heads. He's supposed to be playing for later stages of the game, but after getting this many resources, he's having the time of his life.
TNC should be able to get at least 2 inhibitors, the mid one guaranteed. This could be an endgame scenario if they can get another catch. I mean, they're so strong right now. It doesn't seem like they even need to recall at this point. And he's gonna dive straight onto Finn. Finn and Lynch, the only true front line for the team. All inhibitors down. Falling Star Moon onto Narashi. Minion wave cleared out for now.
And now the siege. A 5v5 siege. Look at the damage coming in from Hatred. They just don't have enough resources to cover all the different types of damage this early on into the game.
TNC Pro Team, they are ready. Wave not really synced up because the mid one was cleared. But they're not in a rush. They can actually just stand there. Stand there and wait until BIGETRON Beta wears himself out.
They're looking so menacing right now. The pokes continuing coming back and forth, but no real angles being opened up by TNC Pro against BIGETRON Beta.
And the JoJo stance.
Just wide stance, baby. Oh!
And now Lumino Blast catching Narashi. Some mini stun. TNC Pro Team with the commitment. Trying to end the game right now. Lynch barely making out alive. Gets energy eruption, but finished off by his. But the true linchpin is going to be Zyve, and I don't think he's going to be able to do too much. Narashi has already expired. TNC Pro Team